Hey everyone, Corrie here. Welcome back for another energy update. This one is for the full moon. So we have the full moon in Aries that is happening on the 29th. And of course, we are a few days before. This is April the 27th that I am recording this. And so this is playing into the energy of everything that is taking place. It is beginnings and endings. Aries is a fire sign. And we've had a lot of action happening with the energy I'm reading. I'm not an astrologer, but the energy I'm reading is that it just feels like the war and peace kind of coming together. And so Mars somehow is intertwining into this Libra energy that we are in right now. And so we do have this sense of war energy, kind of like being at war with ourselves, but we also have this sense of peace over here. So it's that battle between making peace and being at peace. And so you may have been experiencing, or you are experiencing, a whole lot of rising up of stories, of elements of the past. And when we look into our experiences, when we use our experiences as a way to gauge our emotional response in our moments, is that there's a false sense of power and energy that comes from that. Where you have once been, what you once experienced, is not what is happening in your now. Even if it feels the same, it's never the same. There's always a different element. And so really, truly looking at the elements and looking at the elemental parts of yourself. If you have never done your natal chart, I suggest you do, so that you can find out more about you, so that you can see you. And you go to, I think, Cafe Astro or Astro Cafe or cafeastro.com. You can get a full detailed natal chart. Especially it's good if you know your birth time, because if you know your birth time, then you can also get your ascendant. Like you can get so much more information about yourself by knowing it. And if not, you use, I believe, like 12, they use like a standard 12 p.m. as the gauge for it. You just don't get what your ascending sign is. So you'll get your rising, you'll get your moon, you get where all the planets were around about your time. You just don't get that ascending, what is coming in. But in the meantime, I'm so itchy. My ears are itching. Somebody's pulling on my ears. So as I said, we have that sense of war. And last night I was sitting on the couch and I see the moon coming over the trees. And as I looked at the moon, there was a red cloud underneath. And I heard, "Come see me, come see me, come see me." And as I walked out in the clouds, there was like this big angelic being. Now, this is the third time this week that I have been called out to look at the moon. And when I did, there is an angel there. So we have the angelic forces that are here with us and working with us and being a part of it. And one of the angels on the first night that I was called out was the angel of death. And so I had Archangel Azrael coming in to the in this clouds, and it was so beautiful. It was such a beautiful experience. And a part of that is, letting things die. The only way for us to be able to make peace is to let things die, to let there be an ending of, the old ways, or trying to get back to the way things used to be. It's never going to be. We also have trying to make peace with what is. It's like, oh, I just have to just kind of adapt and adjust and just make peace with what is. I can't change it. And yeah, we always have a choice. And there's a lot of things that can be changed. Last night I was pulled out and it was the red cloud, and I just instantly got the sixth ray. And so when I got the sixth ray, that sixth ray does also speak of peace. It speaks of an inner strength. It speaks of that inner sense of stability within ourselves, but it also does speak of war, and it speaks of mercy. And sometimes we have to show ourselves mercy in order to stop being at war with ourselves, in order to, be kinder to ourselves, is that you have to stop being at war with yourself. You have to stop using yourself as an emotional punching bag to say, why did I do that? How come I did that? What was I up to? Or using other people as that energy as well. Is that you looking into other people and blaming everybody else for everything else that is happening? The only one that brings forth your emotions is you. And so this moon and Aries is about leadership. It is about stepping forth. It is about new beginnings. It is the first of the zodiac. So there is like there is endings and beginnings with this, but it's not a bad beginning. It's something new, and it feels like it's invigorating. It has life to it, and it's like this burning desire and passion to start getting into this act of called living and coming back to life and living within the sense of creating a world within our real world and living in our real world and not so much outside of our real world. If they wanted us out, and if they wanted heaven to be on earth, they would have given heaven to earth. Like, it would have been an open door policy. You could have been going back and forth the whole time, but that's not how it works. And so these angels and the angelic forces are here because we will be experiencing these darknesses. So one of the things that I'm predicting, or one of the things that have been coming up, is as if entering into the black hole, like darkness, some sort of sense of having to transform. And like a star gets sucked in, it's gone for God knows how long, and it comes out, and then a new star spits it. The black hole's always, it sucks in stars and spits out stars. And so there is a spitting out. So there's been a lot of angry, aggressive star energy that's also been happening. And so everything that we have happening, along with the solar flares and all this solar energy we have happening, all connects into the fire. And so with a burning desire also comes with throwing things in the fire, burning away the things that no longer serves us. If you write down during this full moon what it is that you're finally ready to release and finally ready to be done with, and let it go, and just say, I'm now available. I'm available for the good things. I'm available for the things that I truly want in this life. I'm here. I'm ready. Where is it? Bring it on. Bring on this new life. Bring on the good things. Bring on peace. And that's good. That's great. But you also have to say to yourself, I forgive myself for thinking that I had to do this alone, or that I was bigger or greater than, those problems, that I could conquer them, that I could overcome them on my own. And so there is that shift that is happening. And I just keep hearing and seeing 3 days of darkness, 3 days of darkness, 3 days of darkness, and what comes out on the other side of that, and what's about to come out on the other side of that. And that's not for everyone, I'm sure. That's just, something that I'm personally getting. So whether or not that is something on a world scale and something bigger, and like, something is about to shut down in our world, and it's going to be down for like 3 days. I do feel like that's also there. Anything is possible, and anything can happen during these times. There is the sense of the back and forth between love and hate. There's a fine line between love and hate. And so this fine line energy between love and hate is also appearing. So we do have to walk that line, and choosing for ourselves. And so there, we could walk around hating on the world, we can walk around loving on the world. But because we're loving on the world, we also have to be aware that if we're passionate about something, is that blended in that passion can also become the disruptions and disturbances of hate. And hate is powerful. And hate has caused a lot of harm. And hate is huge within this world's energy. And it's playing out as if it's like we're at the Colosseum, and you just put everyone into the circle, and you're hurrahing on who can destroy the other person quickly, like fast. And so there's a hate energy that is saying this is coming up and coming back in from centuries ago. This is coming back in from, say, Roman Empire times. Like, we're somehow, and of course, I'm not an astrologer yet. I'm studying astrology now, finally, a little bit more to know some of the basics of it. But I mean, my work is psychic and mediumship and coaching, and channeling, of course. And so some of what's giving to me here is that, whatever the alignment is, and wherever this alignment is kind of either birthing from, or where it had died off and rebirthing from, is that it has a memory. It has some sort of memory of a time of when we would have been in that sense of believing that those experiences of in the Colosseum of gladiator times and fighting would have been acceptable. We also have the veil starting to begin to go into this openings, into this clearing of where spirit world is coming in. So this also brings in that time of the witch hunts, and how that could have ever been accepted. And so this is where we're talking about the fine line between love and hate. And so there is this fine line between love and hate, and our sense of our judgments and our beliefs and what we believe in and what we tell ourselves and what convictions we hold so strong without questioning, that has such power and such hold over us that we can turn against, turn against love and consideration for all humans. So we can turn this inside out, inside of us, bring this into ourselves. We can bring this into ourselves, and we can be at war with ourselves. And so some of the energy is speaking of to be able to make peace and to be able to kind of finally end some of these old cycles, but not to forget history. We must remember history, and we must remember where we have been, but we can't reflect into it and allow it to give us the emotions to deal with the experiences that are in front of us now. So your history, your previous experience, if that's how it is making you feel right now, then you are creating the feeling, you're creating the war, you're creating the storm, you're creating the hate, you're creating the love, you're creating the excitement, whatever it may be, you're creating it. And when we combine with others, we blend into that energy. And so you become a magnet to a magnetic field force of whatever it is that you believe, whatever it is you hold on to, you attract that, and nobody questions it because everyone gets caught in the same. And it's in spiral dynamics that you learn that it's when that one person stops and reflects and sees a new perspective and say, wait, this is just wrong. This is just wrong. It's like the witch hunt. It's like putting a man on the cross. And I've had this conversation much over the years. It's like, when does somebody stop and go, whoa, whoa, whoa? Is this necessary? Do we really need to do this? Is this really what this is about? Do we honestly believe that our convictions are so right, and that we fear somebody not agreeing with us so much that we are willing to cause such chaos and to turn everyday people into something so horrible that we justify things such as the Salem witch hunt, such as a man on the cross? Do we really do that? And so bring that back into the inner self and looking inside of yourself. Why do we crucify ourselves? Why do we still sometimes beat ourselves up and judge ourselves and try to keep improving ourselves from something we may have did when we were 5? Right? You may have taken a candy when you're 5, and someone might have said, you were a thief. And then you were told you were a thief your whole life. And you kept trying to prove that you're a good person. So you've been a lifetime trying to prove to the world you're a good person. And in the meantime of being a good person, you've been very unkind to yourself because you've been so good to everyone else, but not good to you. And so you've been battling that energy for so long. And in that war, because you look into that experience to create the emotion, the action, the response that you're going to take. And all of that's coming up with this moon and just saying, Aries moon it shines a light up on the shadow, but it is a leadership. Aries is the no bullshit. It calls things as it is. It sees things as it is. And it just says, are you done yet? Is that enough? When is there going to be enough? And so there is a big ass shift, change energy that is unfolding, that is coming, that is on its way. And it's like things are about to go through to be transmuted. There is massive transformation that is going to be happening very quickly and very fast. And on the other side of this moon, it is just the beginning of even more. We have eclipse season that'll be coming in, and we'll talk about that in the monthly. But we have eclipse coming in, eclipse season coming in again, which means we're about to shift again. We have a lot of energy right now that says it is the potential that it could let us be at war with ourselves, or it can awaken our inner healer. And when you let your inner healer do the work that needs to do, you take off the bandage, you expose the wounds. If you've already been doing the work, is now you stop wearing any bandage, you stop wearing your wounds, you stop speaking about your wounds, you start speaking from a place of empowerment, of transformation. It's like, this is what I learned from that experience. This is where I am. I've learned to find that about myself. This is who I'm becoming. This is what I have happening. But chasing backwards, chasing the past will never lead you to the future. It's remembering where we have been and the why to why we don't want to go there again and why that is not for us. So Aries also comes with a real opener of the voice, of the throat, of the energy center, which means listening. Great leaders knows how to, they know how to actively listen and to have compassion for what somebody else is experiencing or what somebody else has got going on, but not saying that they choose that side. In spiral dynamics, it's about the one who's courageous enough that maybe in the battle, maybe in the war, and just turn around and say, this just don't make sense, and chooses to walk away and just say there has to be a better way. So at the top of a spiral dynamics would be Martin Luther King, would be people like that who made a choice to be a part, to still want to see the change, but knew that it wasn't going to happen by staying in the problem. Aries energy is not about staying in the problem. Aries full moon is definitely not about staying in a problem. If everyone is in the problem, nobody can be the solution. Who's going to be the solution? Are you going to be the solution to the things that have had a hold on you? No one else is causing the experience but you. What you could be. Corrie ten Boom says she was imprisoned. She was taken to her identity. She was told she was nothing, that she would be nothing. And for a period of time, she believed that to be true. And inside of that prison, she was imprisoned. But inside of being imprisoned and behind those walls, no one could imprison her, is what she realized. She realized that nobody could take from her what was given to her, and that her light, her truth, who she was, would still find a voice and still be what she needs to be, even though her outside world, the world around her, was set telling her to lose all hope. There was no hope. And that she knew that something inside of her, if tomorrow was her last day, she was going to do everything she could in the day that she had left to be the change, to be the person that she knew she came here to be. And that's where it began to change. And so inside of ourselves, inside of our own minds, we can be held, but we can also recognize that we are freer than we think we are, that we are not held to the hostage. The only thing that keeps us to keep getting caught up and getting entangled is that we allow fear to be that which guides us and not faith. And so there is a massive time of change. And as More Than Existing, the book, and ownership and responsibility, as all of these things took place, my truth of existing beyond reflection. And if I had all kinds of money, I'd have all of my 7 books out, which would bring this whole story together and not just look like a crazy little mishmash of mess. And the Everyday Goddess Oracle cards. And this all speaks of moving from shadow to truth. And Aries, and that Aries energy is about truth. It's like not always going to be liked, very powerful, not always going to be loved, going to be judged. It's okay. But can you stand on your own 2 feet? Can you stand that on that ground and not have to get up on a soapbox and preach out this energy, preach out the things that you cannot stand on in your own life, in your own self? There's a change happening. There is a shift happening, and it's time for us to step into it. It's time for us to not to be afraid to see some of the things that we need to see. We do not have all sunshine and butterflies that are on its way, but we have freedom. We have beautiful things. We have the angels, and they wait for us, and they wait for us to call them in. They wait for us to ask for help. And some things are bigger than us, and maybe it's time to reach out instead of trying to do everything all on your own. But it is a time of feeling, letting ourselves feel. It's a time to light those fires. It's a time to turn those lights on. It's time to be authentically true to you and get to know the parts of you that you've yet to know. That's mainly what this moon has given to me to share with you. And I was surprised by this, but one of the stones that it gave me to sit with this moon was actually the smoky quartz. And the smoky quartz absorbs that negative energy. It clears the energy. And so it is not about you absorbing the energy. It's about you letting the guides, the angels, letting, the energy that's around that is here to take the energy and transmute it. And for you to only absorb the transmuted energy, for you to release the things that no longer serve you, and for the actual energy to be transmuted. So it's what's coming back to you: love, wisdom, greater things. And so on the other side of this, there is greater things. So there is endings, there is beginnings. Don't be surprised by the endings. Don't be surprised, if you exist in some endings, don't be surprised by the changes. There's many things, but trust me, the things that we are experiencing in a lot of ways, some things we have to really open up our hearts and minds and just say, I'm curious about that. How's that happening? Why is that happening? Why are we so quick to jump on those bandwagons? Be very aware. And we want peace. We want to be at peace. It means we have to make peace, not chase peace. Everything you chase, you will never catch. Stop chasing the life, the dreams, the everything. And just know that within you, you can become a magnet towards all of the beautiful things that life has for us. Much love. Thank you. Have a beautiful full moon. And hopefully I will also have a meditation that will join here by Friday. We'll see. I'm very busy with teaching right now, but I did just start my certification training for the Everyday Goddess Oracle cards. If you're interested in joining that program, that is now up and available. We just started last week, so we're one class in, but you got one more week that you can join. So you can still get in. You go to my website, go to corriethorne.com, and you can check that out. You can also purchase my books and the Oracle cards themselves all directly on the website as well. And if you like these videos, please subscribe if you have not yet subscribed. And thank you so much. Have a beautiful full moon energy or full moon day. Bye-bye.